Now let's get back to the kitchen now.
Let's get back to the kitchen.
You're going to show us how we can save a little bit of money, but be crafty in the kitchen and on trend.
Yes, I think it's really something that people are doing a lot now. As we mentioned earlier, you want to keep your cabinets from the landfill if you can, or donate them from Habitat for Humanity, the Restore, which is where I usually get all my little demo boards or demo doors.
Yes.
So there's so many different types of kitchens and different materials that the kitchen cabinets are made of. So you want to keep that in mind when you're deciding whether you're going to paint them or not.
Right.
Obviously, wood is the easiest thing to paint. It's porous. We can prime it. We've got lots of paint products for that. But you can also paint over a laminate cabinet as well.
Okay.
At the counter. So for a couple of different scenarios here, with my first high gloss, the really nice high gloss simple one, that was a wood door.
Right.
So it was in fairly good shape. I cleaned it really well first with TSP, and then I always give it a good sand coat regardless.
Sanding is a huge part of it, isn't it?
It really is. I always say that whether it's outdoor, indoor, I find sanding will really make the difference between a really good job and a kind of messy one. So if you sand that surface first, it'll get away, it'll remove any grease or anything that you didn't get removed when you cleaned it. So it helps with that. So I just use, probably 100 or 120 grit sandpaper should be good enough if it's not in really rough shape. So give it a good sanding, and then I prime with Sticks primer.
Okay.
Okay, so it just sticks to, especially if it's got a little bit of gloss on it, or definitely if it's a laminate material, you want to use the Sticks primer on top of that.
All right.
So here I've primed. I've kind of left, there wasn't much difference between what I had before in this case. And then I'm going to use, I like to use a brush. Now, as I mentioned for the Blue Echo High Gloss, I'm using Advanced High Gloss, and I just use a brush for the whole thing.
You do, huh?
I do.
But you're a pro.
Well,
she's a professional, people.
I guess there's a couple of things. I like to be able to clean out my brushes. It's easier than cleaning out the rollers and all that. But I actually find by the time I go in here and do all the grooves with the brush,
you're almost done anyway.
I'm almost done anyway. So it kind of depends. If it's a really big cabinet door, then I might use it. But I also find that you get a similar finish. Because if I mix my brush, and I'm just going to show you quickly, if I mix my brush and then use a roller, this is like a whiz roller. It has a little bit of a low pile, and then there's also a high density foam roller.
Which one would you want to use?
This gives you a super smooth one, but I find that this one replicates the look of the brush more. You get a similar amount of product on there. So you might want to mess around with a little bit and decide what you want to do, but I'm just going to show you quickly with the roller.
They end up looking about the same, don't they?
Yeah. So this will look around the same, whereas if I use the high-density foam roller, I'm not going to get that much product on.
Right.
But regardless, the Advanced covers really well. It's an alkyd paint, but it's waterborne, so it's all environmentally friendly, but you get that beautiful, smooth finish that you get with an alkyd paint. So you can do it either way. Like I said, I like using a brush for the whole thing.
You have more control over it too. Do you ever get hypnotized by your own painting? Like I almost went into a trance. It's like, oh my God.
Paint dry. That's where that expression
That's very calming. I don't know if it's the color or what. I'd just be like, it would be a mess if I was in charge. It's very nice. Okay, so now this one we're going to replicate that sort of antique look.
A little bit of antiquing. So what I've done here is I painted it in this case with Satin Aura in a really pretty color called Battenberg. And then I've mixed up some glazing liquid, some water-based glazing liquid. Again, I use a semi-gloss or a satin for your cabinetry to give it more durability. So I've mixed up pretty much 50-50. And you know me, I'm not big at measuring, which is why Ricardo's cooking and I'm not. So I mix up my glaze, and I've used Willow, which is a nice dark brown.
I love Willow.
And use your artist's brush for this.
Because it's sort of more of a free hand movement that's going to be happening right now.
So you want to get it into the grooves, and I'll just move this away. You can sort of be a little bit messy because it's quite fluid because of the glazing liquid.
Yeah.
And you want to have a rag handy and just kind of rub it into those corners. And the nice thing is you can put it all over and get a little bit more of a strié look.
Beautiful.
There you go. So
and I mean, you're going to have to use your eyeball to figure out sort of what, what's too much, what's enough.
That's it, Tracy. It's a bit more of an art with this. It's not like the simple painting one. This one you kind of want to have a bit of an eye. And you might even find that, you know what, I want it to be darker, so then put less glazing liquid and just put more paint. And it's still very durable.
Very cool.
Okay, so that's your antiquing. And then the last one is more distressed. So it's more of a, like I said, a farmhouse look.
Yeah, that industrial, rustic look that so many people are trying to replicate right now.
Exactly. And it's actually very easy to do.
Okay.
But you want to have all your tools. So with this one, you can see I didn't paint the base coat that great. I only did one coat because I know I'm going to be messing it up anyway. I'm going to be distressing it, so no problem. So if you want to pass me the can there, I'll get it ready for you, and maybe since you're closer, you can do this
I'll do it, sure.
Oops, I forgot to open the can.
First, we open the can.
First step, open the can. So for this one, I used Benjamin Moore's Ben line, so I use the semi-gloss for both. For the antiquing, I'm just using an eggshell. But then what you want to do after this one is top coat it with Stays Clear in a low luster finish, which is what I did for the final one.
Okay.
Okay, so dry brush.
So am I basically going to just go over it with this color?
Lightly.
Oh, lightly.
Okay. Lightly.
Like that.
Very good, Tracy. Exactly. And you know what? Again, it's only paint. You can always have some of your base coat color in case you need to, if you do a little bit of a dark area,
sorry,
you can always
Sharon,
touch
I
up
painted
after,
your finger. I didn't hear a word you said. I'm in a trance.
She's in a trance. Doesn't it look good?